Forget the Terminator, the 2025 Fat Boy is the icon that doesn't need your clothes, boots, or an old bike. The most significant news is right here, nestled between the frame rails. The factory-spec Milwaukee 8117 custom engine. Does a bike this iconic still need to handle like a classic? Let's do work. We aim to give you the highest quality motorcycle reviews here, so subscribe to keep it locked in. Let's get straight to the performance figures because they are jaw-dropping. The new engine displaces a massive 117 cubic inches or 1,923 cubic centimeters. You know, let me just stop right here. No matter who you are and where you're from, there's nothing manlier than saying that your bike is 1900 cc's. There's no replacement for displacement. Anyway, this custom variant is rated at 104 horsepower at 4,800 RPM and a stonking 126 pound-feet of torque. That's 171 newton meters for our European friends, which peaks at a low and wonderfully accessible 3,000 RPM. And that's a lot of fun in the palm of your hand. Bigger bore aside, this bike comes with a unique tuning package, including a high-flowing 2x2 staggered exhaust system and a new air intake, which makes this bike sound literally like a tank. I've never heard a bike like this before, but we'll hear that later. Crucially, the engine architecture has been optimized with new electronic control systems. We see the inclusion of a more refined throttle control and the seamless integration of Harley's cornering rider safety enhancements. The gearbox remains the robust 6-speed cruise drive transmission paired with a mechanical assist and conventional slipper clutch. The clutch action is predictably weighty, but the slip function helps to manage the engine's huge inertia on aggressive downshifts. I didn't feel any jerking or get thrown around. It was velvety smooth. In terms of feel, the Milwaukee 8117 still gives you that raw, barrel-chested V-twin character that defines the brand, but the power delivery is noticeably smoother and more flexible than the previous 114 unit. So there's no doubt the bike is vastly better than its predecessor. More power, more sound, more refinement. It's a substantial upgrade. Special shout out to Harley Davidson of Danbury, Connecticut, who let me review this beautiful machine. I can tell you right now, if you go to Harley Davidson of Danbury, Connecticut and tell them Ducati Diaries sent you and you buy this motorcycle, they will give you $1,500 off, a free t-shirt of your choosing, and a $200 service voucher. Ask for the owner Al, his number is below. The Fat Boy's visual signature has always been its steamroller stance, and the 2025 model stays true to that legacy. It rolls on glorious 18-inch Lakester cast aluminum wheels wrapped in massive Michelin Scorcher 11 radials, and I love the solid rims. They definitely stand out. And by the way, we're wrapping them with a huge 160/60 R18 tire up front and a colossal 240/40 R18 at the rear, adding to this bike's badassery. This combination gives the bike an undeniable presence, but it also dictates the riding dynamics. The steering rake is relaxed at 30 degrees and the curb weight is substantial at 694 pounds or 315 kilograms in running order. The result is a motorcycle that is absolutely unwavering in a straight line and launches like a rocket, but as you may expect, requires deliberate counter-steering and muscle to negotiate tight corners. But this is a man's bike and we love to manhandle it into submission in corners. That's part of the appeal here. Don't get me wrong, despite that massive almost 700 pounds, the bike is low to the ground and it doesn't feel heavy at all. It's actually quite nimble for its size. When I read it was almost 700 pounds, I couldn't believe it. It really feels light. But you're not getting on a 600 sport bike and getting knee down here by any means. But that's not why we buy a Fat Boy. We buy it for raw power, getting blasted back in your seat and plowing through corners. The Achilles heel of the Fat Boy remains its cornering clearance, limited to 25.6 degrees of lean angle right and left before the floorboards hit the tarmac. But I didn't have any problems cornering and I went deeper than I thought I could around corners. Maybe that's because the suspension has been greatly improved. Up front we have 49mm Showa dual bending valve fork with 5.1 inches of travel, and at the rear, the hidden preload adjustable coilover monoshock offers 3.4 inches of travel. Harley has fitted new straight rate springs for 2025, aiming for a more predictable balance between spring rate and damping, and while it's certainly composed, you'll still be aware of the bike's weight and limited travel over serious bumps, so look out for those potholes. Braking is handled by a single 300mm rotor with a 4-piston caliper up front and a 292mm rotor with a 2-piston caliper at the rear, certainly adequate adequate, but you want to utilize that rear brake heavily to settle the chassis. Taking a look at technology, this is where the 2025 Fat Boy truly modernizes. The inclusion of the cornering rider safety enhancements is a game changer for this model. This suite includes cornering enhanced anti-lock braking system, which accounts for the bike's lean angle, cornering traction control system, cornering drag torque slip control system, which manages rear wheel lockup on aggressive deceleration, and you know what? It's got all the modern nannies that you would expect from a modern Harley Davidson. It's cutting edge. These systems are seamlessly tied into the new selectable ride modes, rain, road, and sport. Rain mode heavily restricts the power and maximizes traction control for slick conditions. Road is your general purpose map, and sport delivers a full snappy throttle response of the 117 engine with minimal nannies barging in when you're trying to have fun. Further elevating the experience is standard electronic cruise control and a tire pressure monitoring system. I was impressed by this because the screen even shows what your PSI is for each wheel. Now compare that to my more expensive Ducati Diaries V4, where the dealer just told me my tire pressure was low, and I was like, I thought this thing had tire pressure monitors for this price. It didn't, but it does on the Harley. Good job, Harley. Information is displayed elegantly on the traditional 5-inch analog speedometer, which houses a small multifunctional LCD screen for gear, trip, fuel level, and ride mode indication. The lighting is all modern LED, encased in that classic massive chrome nacelle, and it looks menacing. This bike is unmistakably a Fat Boy. The bike comes stock with the deepest exhaust I've ever heard. It's like the exhaust is spewing out an earthquake the whole time. It's not obnoxiously loud, but definitely powerfully pleasing to the ears. Have a listen. Aesthetically, the Fat Boy is unapologetically chrome, from the headlight nacelles commanding presence to the fork covers. It's a throwback and aesthetic that few other manufacturers dare to try, and a unique touch, and fittingly, the front of the bike looks like a pro bodybuilder flexing in accordance with its muscle bike moniker. You can get this in standard billiard gray or vivid black for another $350, blue burst for another $650, and as I've had the pleasure of riding here, whiskey fire and vivid black for $850, which in my opinion is the way to go. I love how they've blended these two colors to make this bike stand out a mile away. I love this paint job. Ergonomically, the riding position is classic cruiser. The seat is low, it's easy to toss a leg over, and has an unladen height of just 26.6 inches or 25.9 laden when you are sitting on it. The rider is positioned with a slight commanding forward lean, grasping wide, low set handlebars, and it's comfortable. Keep in mind there's no windscreen here, duh, and you will feel that when twisting 126 pound-feet of torque proportionally to the wind blowing you backwards, which means you will need to hold onto the handlebars for dear life when blasting forward at higher speeds, like on the highway. The 5-gallon 18.9 liter fuel tank gives you a respectable range with an estimated fuel economy of 47 miles per gallon. It is a genuinely comfortable place to spend a long day, but like I said, you may have some wind fatigue, so if long-range trips are in order, you may want to consider adding a windscreen, and you can get a detachable 15-inch one for $450 or an aftermarket of your choosing. But let's talk about the overall price. The 2025 Harley Davidson Fat Boy 117 starts at $22,599 US in billiard gray. With premium paint choices and many options you can spec, that price climbs accordingly. This firmly plants the Fat Boy at the premium end of the cruiser segment, once again, duh. So what is the 2025 Fat Boy? It's a fascinating machine that expertly walks the line between heritage and modernity. The bike's physical limits, the lean angle, the single front brake, are still part of the package, but they're part of the fun, and they are now underpinned by modern electronics that make the 117 manageable and safe. The Fat Boy has always been about presence, and now it has the prodigious power to back it up. If you're looking for the absolute latest in sport cruising handling, this isn't it. But if you want a true slice of Americana, saturated in chrome, with an engine that finally has the performance demanded of a modern icon, the new Fat Boy 117 is arguably the most desirable version of this legendary machine ever built. It was a blast to ride, it looks good, it sounds good, it feels good, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments, is the 117 engine enough to get you on a Fat Boy? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and always remember the motto, bark less, wag more, and always be kinder than necessary. I'll see you in the next one.